to Connections. I'm your host, April Healy, and I'm sitting with Laura Armur, my super good friend. She's also over operations at Bethel Atlanta, and she's over the internship for Bethel Atlanta School of Supernatural Ministries. Laura, welcome to the show once again.
Great. Thank you.
You're here.
I'm here. This is fun.
This is beautiful.
It's awesome.
I know you have two girls. We talked about this in a recent episode. And so can you tell us like how becoming a parent has changed you the most?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's probably been the most transformative and hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Being responsible for two other people, not just their daily, food, sleep,
right,
needs and whatnot, but just like raising two humans. And we're in the middle of, they're 2.5, so we're in the throes of them discovering their own wills and wanting to exert those wills on the environment around them, which is lots and lots of fun. So
let's just laugh at that.
I know. Let's just breathe.
Let's just laugh at that.
Just breathe. So lots of choices every day in our house.
Every day.
So I think, for me, it's really that transition from, that we even talk about like in the ministry school of going from son to father, where you're kind of really in charge of yourself. And then you're in charge of other people around you, and, fostering their needs on all different levels, I think is a challenge.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those things. I go to bed most nights praying, Jesus, would you come be sufficient where I was insufficient today?
That's such a cool
prayer. I find myself feeling insufficient a lot. At parenting, and just question. I mean, you and I have talked about this. You question a lot of, am I doing this right? Because there's not always a clear-cut right answer.
Yeah, and there's 7 billion people in the world, and 7 billion different ways to do parenting.
Yeah, and your kids are different. They have different needs. They have different personalities. And what works for one doesn't work for another. And it's really fascinating doing that with twins because I'm seeing it like at the same time.
Yeah. That's true.
So I would always find myself feeling insufficient at what I was doing as a parent. And so that has been my, just cover it. Jesus, would you come be sufficient?
Really good.
Where I wasn't.
I love that. So when it's quiet in your house and you have a moment to yourself and
that doesn't ever happen.
Right. with no distractions.
Yeah.
This happens all day long for you. What do you find yourself thinking about?
Man, right now I'm just dreaming of a moment when it's quiet in my house with no distractions and I'm alone.
That 8:00 hour. We call it the glory hour.
Yeah. So I think a lot of times my thoughts typically first go to, do I need to do the dishes? Do I need to do laundry? What can I clean? What can I do? I think when I'm intentional with that time, I can sit down. Usually my first thought is, okay, breathe. Because I think we're just kind of constantly going and constantly going. And so I think one thing I've been trying to practice doing is trying to identify what my needs are in the moment of, okay, do I need to take a nap?
Sure.
Do I need to do something around the house? Do I need to watch a movie? What is going to fill me in that moment? Because I think that time feels so precious now because it doesn't happen easily and it doesn't happen often. And often it's costing me something, like I'm paying a sitter or I'm paying to send my girls to preschool or they're off doing something with my mom, that I want it to be valuable. So that's the thing I've been challenging myself is figuring out what do you need in the moment instead of just automatically reverting to I'm going to watch something on Netflix or I'm going to do the dishes.
Right.
But maybe I need to take a nap and feeling permission to do that in that time.
That's a big deal when you're a parent because there's so many needs all around you that it's nice to just say, this is what I actually need. And all the other voices get to be put down.
Yeah. And being okay with meeting that need for yourself in the moment is I think really critical to health in parenting.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just constantly meeting other people's needs and without thinking about your own.
Yeah. What would you say like are your deepest passions that you burn for, and how have you kept those alive after having kids?
Yeah, it's easy, I think, for your kids to be forefront because you're crazy about them and they're dependent on you.
Right.
So it's, I think, really easy for things that like the April before she was wife and mom April loved. It's easy to let those slip. So I think you have to be intentional with it. One thing for me, I think I kind of rediscovered it a little bit on our Cameroon trip last year. It felt like the pre-marriage and pre-kids Laura again.
Yeah. Wow.
So I think it's identifying those passions. I love travel. Most of my dreams are travel oriented.
Nice.
So even taking time to give that priority, whether it's in your budgeting, okay, let's budget to go on this trip or do this. And then I think for me, I love growth. Like I love developing people. I love developing myself. So self-awareness books and tools and everything like that are always high on my list.
Yeah.
Because I love just going deeper into learning about myself and learning how to help others do that as well. And then I'm an avid reader and movie watcher. So
that's awesome.
I love books, fiction, nonfiction, any of it. I love any kind of story that kind of transports you to like another time or another place. Where you just get to fully envelop yourself in this world the author's created. So my downtime is usually reading books or Netflix and movies. So to get a little bit of energy.
Yeah, because you love it. It's who you are.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's awesome. So how have you kept your marriage alive after having kids?
It's funny because I feel like Kirk and I have this conversation a lot of our kind of litmus test, for lack of a better word, is do we feel like spouses or do we feel like coworkers? And there'll be a lot of times when, especially if it's been really busy with work and kids and things like that, that the girls go to bed and it's kind of like we divide up a list of, okay, you do the dishes, I'm going to vacuum the floors, or you finish the laundry, I'm going to go outside and do this. And I think we just have to be intentional to stop in those moments and be like, okay, do you feel like my husband right now, or do you feel like my coworker in just running this house and running our life? And so that's been a pretty easy test for us of, okay, we feel more like coworkers. Let's stop and leave the dirty dishes in the sink and have a conversation, or let's stop and watch a TV show or play a game or something like that.
Or be intimate.
Yeah. When you have energy.
That's awesome.
Or when your kids aren't waking up in the middle of the night.
Right. All those moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Did you say, I know I asked you how parenting changed you the most, and but can you remind me what you said about that?
I think I don't know if I even answered the question. I think it really just forces you to kind of look beyond yourself. I think you kind of get a glimpse of it when you get married, because it's no longer just about you.
Right.
So like when you're dealing with your own stuff, you're often seeing the negative consequences of it reflected.
Yeah.
Like in your husband, like if you're not dealing with a lie or a wound and it's negatively affecting them, you're seeing the hurt that you're putting on someone else. I think it's the same thing with parenting of, I get overwhelmed or stressed and I lash out at my kids and I see like the hurt it causes them. And so I think that's been the thing, is like a greater awareness of like, it's not about me.
Yeah.
And even learning how to like apologize to your kids and learning how to be wrong in front of them and show them how to like correct that.
Yeah.
Is a really humbling experience when you're apologizing to your 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Mommy was wrong. Right. And they're like, what? We'll get there.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry.
One of the greatest words you'll say.
It really is.
To a kid.
Because we try to teach them to do that, to
Yeah.
own up to their mistakes and consequences. And so I think you do it by example.
Yeah.
So that's been, I think, transformative for me of you haven't arrived and you're not perfect as a parent, and humbling yourself even before your kids. And you know what? Yeah, I was wrong there. I'm sorry. I need to ask your forgiveness.
Yeah.
Is a big deal.
I love that because we're just always growing and going from glory to glory. So it's like just all these places that you're always growing in.
Yeah.
It feels good to do.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, Laura, for joining us. I
Sure.
love hearing everything about you and all your family life and how you're growing and all that, and staying connected to you and your husband and your kids and God, all in the middle of doing life. Just, you know, our normal everyday. Yeah. And so thanks for your insight. I love it. Absolutely love it. You guys, thanks for joining us. I love that you got to hear all of Laura's insight. She's just so brilliant and amazing, really, in everything she does. And we would love to have you back next time.